Rebel Force Radio presents
Star Wars Cantina.
Where are you going, Master?
For a drink.
Sorry about the mess.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
All right, we're here with Howard Chaykin, one of the first artists ever to work on Star Wars, the original Marvel Star Wars comics illustrator. How you doing, Howard?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing great. How did you first become associated with the series?
George Lucas asked me if I'd be interested in drawing it. I agreed before I'd seen the movie. I finished the last issue well before the movie ever came out. And had I known the movie was as big a hit as it was, I would have done a better job.
Well, I don't think people are complaining about the job you did.
I do. It's my standards that count in this particular case. You know?
Okay. All right. Then that's fair enough. But your work's become indelible, and it's been re-released over and over and over again, so you got to have some pride about that.
Not particularly. No, the reality is it was released having nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with the material. And because it came out a couple of years before the residual plan came in, I made next to no money on it in terms of, with all of its reprinting and reprinting and reprinting. So I'm not bitter about it, but I certainly would. I mean, had the residuals and the royalty system been in place at the time, I would have made millions. As it was, I made hundreds.
Okay. You also drew the first promotional poster for Star Wars.
Yes, I did.
The infamous one sheet that was sold for $1 a piece at the San Diego Comic.
Why infamous? How do you mean?
Well, because right now, that thing catches a pretty pity among poster collectors.
Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's it selling for now?
Hundreds.
Really?
Yeah.
That's outrageous. I had no idea.
So do you own any copies of it?
No. I have nothing of that. I don't hold on to my work once it's done. I work for reproduction. And once a job is finished, I'm finished with the job.
So you have an inbox and an outbox?
Pretty much, yes. I know that a well-known comics collector and television writer owns the original, for which he paid far too much money, in my opinion. But that's his call.
Who is that?
Won't say.
Can you recall your initial reaction to the images and material from the film?
Yes, absolutely. What I was given was 400 stills and the McQuarrie paintings. And the stills looked inert and dead. I also visited the model shop, and the model shop was wonderful. I was there when they were building Darth Vader's spaceship, and they had built the tracks for the Death Star sequence, and then I had the McQuarrie paintings. And what freaked me out when I finally saw the film, I guess about 3 weeks after I delivered the last issue of the book, and what freaked me out completely was that the finished picture did not look like the stills, but rather looked like the McQuarrie paintings. So it was very impressive that they had done such a magnificent job turning these rather inert-looking stills into such a convincing, special effects universe.
Now, it's really legendary is how late in the actual film production the special effects were finished. So you were doing a lot of your illustrations without seeing those finished effects.
I saw nothing. I saw no film at all before I did the book. I didn't see any film at all until the book was finished.
Now, the comic also offered us a chance to see some characters and scenes that were actually edited out of the final product.
Biggs and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, Biggs Dark Lighter and the scene from Anchorhead. Were you surprised that was cut from the film?
No, don't have any memory of that stuff whatsoever. I mean, bear in mind, you're talking about material that was done at this point 35 years ago, So it's very difficult for me to remember or care.
You were one of the first contributors to the Star Wars Expanded Universe because starting with Marvel 7, the series went beyond the movie, beyond the galaxy, as it said on the cover. And the story was Han and Chewie adventure, and it was notable for featuring the debut of the rabbit-esque character Jackson. Did you come up with that design?
Yeah, I guess. I have no memory of it, You got to remember that this is going to be uncomfortable but true. This stuff is important to you because you guys liked it and were a fan of it. But for me, it was my job, and I didn't really care very much.
No, I want nothing but the truth. Your run with Star Wars ended at issue 10. Why did it come to an end?
Because I was bored out of my mind drawing it, and it wasn't very interesting to me.
Now, you said George approached you to actually work on it. What was one of your works that he's a fan of?
The Cody Starbuck stuff that I did for Star Reach.
And so he saw that and just said, this is the...
Right.
Do you know if George was disappointed when you walked away from the
I
series?
got a clue. I'm not sure whether he liked or hated. I have no idea.
Have you seen any of the newer comics from Dark Horse?
No,
Do you have a desire to draw Star Wars again?
not a lot. No.
I gathered as much.
I've done a couple of commission pieces in that regard, and I had a good time doing them. But I'm not a science fiction artist like I was like 25, 30 years ago. I consider myself more an urban realist, and I'm much more interested in drawing, real people in real situations as opposed to fantastical unrealities.
And you, of course, are also very known for your comic series, American Flag.
Right.
So what's next for you?
I just finished up a mini-series for Marvel Max featuring Dominic Fortune, a 1930s adventurer that I did in the early 70s for Marvel. And I'm doing some work for IDW on the villain side of the G.I. Joe books. Looking forward to that big time. And a couple of projects that I can't talk about because the companies prefer to let that stuff out on their own time as opposed to letting me do it.
Cool. Well, we're looking forward to whatever comes down the pike from you.
You're very kind, Jimmy.
And how do fans get a hold of you?
I haven't got a clue. They find me at conventions. I'm a pretty obscure guy. I'm a guy who embraces comfort and privacy. I just want the money, and I'm very happy to have have the attention of a cult figure, and I'm working with that now. But good luck with this.
Well, I appreciate it. And, even though it doesn't impress you, the comics you drew impressed me, those first 10.
You were 11.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And it did make an impression on me. So I just want to thank you for your contributions to Star Wars Universe.
Jimmy, I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Howard.
Hey, guy.
Rebel Force Radio.